I tell you what blows my mind. Hollow Earth. This is part 2 of a 4-part series where we're exploring the idea that there might be more beneath our feet than what we've ever been told. If you haven't seen part 1, that's where we looked at where this idea even came from. Ancient myths, underground worlds, and even scientists like Edmund Halley trying to make sense of what might exist beneath the surface. Halley's theory suggested that the Earth could be made up of multiple layers, like shells within shells, each with its own magnetic field. But that's just one way of looking at it. When you start digging into this, you realise very quickly that there isn't just one hollow Earth theory. There are multiple, and each one paints a completely different picture of what might actually be down there. So if Halley's idea was one possibility, there's another theory that takes things in a completely different direction. And this is probably the one most people have heard of when it comes to hollow Earth. The idea is that there are massive openings at the North and South poles, leading down into the interior of the planet. Some believe these openings could be thousands of kilometres wide. Hidden in some of the most remote and least explored regions on Earth, these supposed openings have never been officially confirmed, but there have been claims over the years of unusual satellite images, strange readings, and things that don't quite line up with what we'd expect to see. And if these openings do exist, you've got to ask yourself, what could possibly be on the other side? According to this theory, the inside of the Earth wouldn't be dark or empty. It could have its own source of light, even an internal sun, providing warmth, energy, and the conditions needed for life. And that's where things start to shift, because we already know that there are vast amounts of water beneath the Earth's surface, entire underground rivers, reservoirs, and systems we're still discovering. In fact, scientists have found evidence of huge quantities of water stored deep within the Earth's mantle, locked inside minerals hundreds of kilometres below the surface. Some estimates suggest that it could rival or even exceed the amount of water in our oceans. So the idea of hidden worlds with water isn't as impossible as it might sound. If there's water and light, then there's the potential for something more. Not just empty space, but environments, ecosystems, places where life could exist, flourish and evolve, completely separate from the surface. This might sound like something out of science fiction, but environments like this do already exist beneath us. There's a cave in Vietnam called Son Dong, and inside it there's an entire ecosystem, jungles, rivers, plant life, even its own climate system, all of it hidden underground. And the thing is, it wasn't discovered hundreds of years ago. It was only fully explored in 2009. And that's just one cave. How many more are out there waiting to be discovered? But it shows something important. Even now there are parts of this planet that we can barely reach, places that we still don't fully understand. And in some of those places we're still discovering life that we didn't know existed, creatures that have been there for who knows how long, completely unknown to us. So if there is vast environments beneath the Earth, entire hidden worlds, what could be living down there? What haven't we yet seen? If places like that can exist beneath the surface, then the idea of life down there doesn't feel so far-fetched. But what if it's not just simple life? What if it's something more advanced? If something like that did exist, it wouldn't necessarily be affected by what happens on the surface. Natural disasters or wars, or even events that could completely reset life above. Which means while everything on the surface changes, something hidden could continue uninterrupted, safe, evolving, developing, advancing over thousands of years without the same disruptions we've faced. And if that's the case, then some of the civilizations that we were told were lost might never have been lost at all. Places like Atlantis or Lemuria, maybe they didn't disappear. Maybe they moved somewhere protected, somewhere hidden. And if something like that does exist, and it's been evolving all this time, then what are they capable of? What kind of technology would they have? Would it even look like technology the way we understand it? If they're more advanced than us, then they know we're here. Which raises another question. If they know about us, are we being watched? And if movement between those worlds is possible, what would it look like to us? Would it look like something emerging from the side of a mountain? Or maybe something rising up from the ocean? Something we don't fully understand, but get a glimpse of anyway. In some versions of this idea, these aren't just random sightings, they're connected. And they're connected to a hidden world that already has a name, Agartha. Agartha is described as a vast hidden kingdom said to exist beneath the surface of the earth. Not just empty space, not just isolated cave systems, but an entire world, a civilization, and not just any civilization, one that is said to be far more advanced than our own. A place that, according to some accounts, is illuminated from within, sustained by its own internal light source, capable of supporting life, ecosystems, and something far more organised. In many of these stories, Agartha isn't just inhabited, it's structured, ruled by what's often referred to as King of the World, or in some cases, a council. Figures said to exist beneath the surface, not separate from us, but aware of us, watching, observing, and in some interpretations influencing events on the surface, quietly from below. And when you think about it, you start to notice a pattern. Different traditions, different belief systems, all pointing towards the same core idea, that knowledge, power, and even guidance doesn't always come from above. Sometimes it comes from somewhere hidden, somewhere we were never meant to know about. Some accounts go even further, describing networks of tunnels, linking sacred sites across the world, all leading back to a central point, often said to lie somewhere beneath regions like the Himalayas. A hidden network, connected, alive, and possibly far older than anything we know on the surface. Now, whether you take it literally or see it as something symbolic, that's where the divide happens. Because for some, Agartha represents something internal, a journey inward into hidden knowledge. But for others, it's something very real, an actual place. And not just any place, a civilization, one that might have been there this entire time, unaffected by what happens on the surface, continuing, evolving, while we've been resetting again and again. So there's one more theory I'd like to talk about, and this one flips everything. It's called the inverted hollow earth theory. Now, instead of the earth being a solid world with something hidden inside it, this idea suggests the opposite, that we're actually living inside of a hollow earth structure, like being on the inner surface of a giant sphere, with everything we see above us contained within it. So instead of looking out into space, we'd be looking across the inside of it. The moon, sun and stars wouldn't be millions of miles away. They'd exist within that space, which would mean everything we think is out there might actually be contained within the same system as us. It's difficult to grasp and not one that's widely accepted, but it is a possibility that's been suggested. It raises a bigger question, not just what might be inside the earth, but whether we've understood the earth correctly at all. So what's really beneath our feet? And are we even looking in the right direction? You decide. In the next part, we're going to be looking at one of the most famous and controversial cases connected to the Hollow Earth theory, the story of Admiral Byrd, and his contributions to this fascinating subject, Hollow Earth. So what's really going on here? Could there be entire civilizations living beneath our feet that we don't know about, or that we're simply not being told about? Could any of these Hollow Earth theories be true, or is reality something we haven't even considered yet? The idea that there might be more to this world than we've been led to believe doesn't quite feel so impossible anymore. Could there be civilizations far more advanced than our own, existing somewhere beneath us, watching and waiting, evolving? Or is all of this just theory? Ideas trying to make sense of the unknown? I'm not here to tell you what to think, but I am here to ask the questions. Thank you for sitting with me through part 2 of this deep dive into the Hollow Earth theory. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my channel.